If you committed the next 365 days of your life to the persistent pursuit of your potential and you were grinding 24/7 and you didn't cheat yourself, imagine what you would become. You would become a ruthless killer. You would become such a G that nobody would say, nah, this person ain't doing it. You'd be undeniable. 365 days. If you committed to that, you would win.
Obsession beats talent every single time. Obsession is key because it requires persistence. And if you want to accomplish your goals, it requires building blocks. And these building blocks take time, and perseverance and dedication and obsession to perfect your craft is what's going to set you apart. So the question is, are you obsessed with winning? Are you obsessed with leveling up? Or are you just depending on your talent?
But what if life wasn't about happiness? What if life is about experiencing every aspect and every emotion that life has? Wouldn't you want to experience the full sudden range of emotions that life has to offer you? The sadness, the heartbreaks, the joy, right? You can't have happiness without sorrow. You can't have pleasure without pain. And to neglect one thing is to neglect life.
While they're partying, you're working. While they're sleeping, you're working. While they're at the cinema eating junk food, you're at home healthy, eating organic food, developing your mindset. Why? Not because you're a freak, but because you realize that in order to get to the next level, you must be willing to sacrifice the necessities and the requirements to get to the next level.
As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Because what you think about dictates your reality. Let me explain. Your thoughts lead to actions, and actions lead to behavior, and behaviors lead to lifestyle, and that your lifestyle dictates your destiny. So if we reverse engineer that, ultimately your thoughts dictate your destinies. Now the question is, how do you change the way that you think? Well, you have to change the input. You have to change the things that you allow yourself to be nurtured by. This isn't just food, but it's what you listen to, who you hang out with, what you do with your hands, with your eyes and your ears that nurture your spirit or they take away. They build your character or they destroy your innocence. Who do you want to be? And what must you sacrifice in order to become that person? Do you meditate day and night about those goals and those objectives and that dream life that you want? Or do you settle for the things of the world? You settle for the things of the system. You settle for the things that have been given to you, but they don't belong to you. The input will dictate the output. The input will dictate your character. The input will dictate your desires, because your desires only grow based off of what you feel. Maybe you should think more. Henry Ford famously said that the hardest job in the world is to think, hence why most people don't engage in it.
If you had to go back to zero, what's the first thing you would do?
First thing I would do, plan a way to make $5,000 or $10,000 a month. How am I going to do that? Most likely online. Why? Low friction, low cost, high traffic volume of people. What would my execution be? Whatever the execution of the plan would be. How would I create a plan? I'm giving the equation for how to make money. What can I be the best at? You need to figure out what you can actually be the best at based off of your skills. If you're not the best, develop the skill sets to become the best. The second thing is I need to be in high demand. And then finally, I need to be able to do something that I'm irreplaceable in.
You want to level up, you need to not only level up your circle, but you need to level up yourself. Why? Because losers hang out with losers and winners hang out with winners. So if you're going to hang out with a circle of winners, you need to level up and provide value or be perceived as a person of value. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to be an equal, but it necessarily means that you have to be in a situation where people appreciate your presence. You always want to be the person that's invited in the room. That means you have to be respected, you have to be well educated, you can't look like an absolute loser and a scrub, and you have to be able to provide value in some way, shape, or form.
You don't have to make money every single day, every moment of the day to be productive. Only a fool would plant a seed and watch it and be angry and observe it the same day. Motherfucker, grow, mother. No, the world has a natural process. There's an ebb and flow to nature. You are part of nature. You cannot go beyond universal law. There's a time and a season for everything. So there's a time and a season for harvesting, and there's a time and a season for sowing. If you're sowing, it'll eventually come to you. What people don't seem to understand is the success that you enjoy today isn't from today's actions. It's from the accumulation of all the past seeds. And then people end up losing in the future. Yeah, that's because you slacked off today. Don't depend on some bullshit teacher out there that hasn't accomplished anything in life to tell you how to live, to impart upon you their limitations as to what reality has to give. If I'd listened to my teachers, well, I'd still be back in Argentina, probably working some bullshit 9-to-5 job, making a couple $100s a month, having to deal with fucking bullshit socialism and bullshit inflation. But I decided to learn from my experiences. I decided to put myself in situations that were uncomfortable so that I could grow and become better. And by doing so, and by developing a complete mind, I became better. And the better you become, the better life gets. If you want
want to become average, that's okay. But understand that if you want to get to the next level in your life and the next level of your business, you need to focus. This obsession needs to be not unhealthy, but it needs to be productive and it needs to be purpose driven. And when you understand that obsession is there to fuel you and it's there to keep you on track, well then the game is very easy and the world is yours for the taking. So the question is, will you be obsessed or will you be average?
If you're at the bottom, there's only one way, but you gotta look up. And when you look up, there's somebody there waiting for you. His name is G.O.D. And he's there with a hand, reaching out, waiting for you to take control of your life. Because I learned one very important lesson. Your relationship with God is like that of a captain and a crew member. One rows, the other one steers. Many times in our life, we want to get confident and cocky and arrogant. And God says, I steer, but I do not row. We need to put in the work, and God will guide. That's the greatest lesson I've learned.
What do you think is the number one mistake that a lot of these entrepreneurs are making?
They don't learn the fundamentals. It's so easy, bro. It's so easy to bank money. You know this. Online, anybody can go out and make 10 grand a month, literally. But who learns taxes? Who learns budgeting? Who learns human resources? Who learns product and inventory management? Who learns scaling and operation? Who learns systems building? Nobody learns those things because they're the boring parts of the business. And if you don't learn them, you're going to crash. The last thing you want to be is a person that pumps cash but has no ability to retain it.
Most people don't focus on their mindset. Most people are focused on exterior factors. They think that everything that happens to them is by chance. And they don't realize that a lot of the things that happen to them are things that they attract. Because you attract the things that you are, and you are what you do, and you do what you think about. Most people don't understand the power of the mind. That's why they haven't tapped into the power of the mind. And the power of the mind is one very simple thing. The ability to direct your attention towards a specific given objective, and then to have the willpower to pursue it. Most people don't know where they're going because they never have a goal. You need to have a clear goal. If you don't have a goal, you don't know where you're going to go in life. If I ask you today, what's your financial goal? Would you be able to answer? You need to be able to be very specific about the life that you want, about who you want to become. Mindset, your ability to develop thoughts, is extremely important because your thoughts dictate and create your reality. Thoughts lead to actions, actions lead to behaviors, and behavior leads to lifestyle.
You can't be focused on the future. What you need to be focused is on the present moment. What you can control today, the habits that you input today, the amount of work ethic and good attitude that you portray today. These are the things that matter. The Stoics used to speak about these things because it is so easy to either reminisce in the past or to be conjuring imaginary scenarios of the future, oftentimes negative, that lead a present moment of stress and a state of being miserable. So if you want to be in a life that is full of equanimity, equanimity means the calmness of the soul, and a life that is full of peace, you need to be here now, focusing on what you can control. If you want to make more money, perfect. Clock in. If you want to become more financially literate, you're going to have to pick up the books and get educated. If you want a better physique, you're going to have to eat healthier food and you're going to have to exercise. Not focused on the future, but focus on what you can do today. And by natural law, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The universe will give you exactly what you deserve.
Focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Focus on improving in every area of life and understand that life is a marathon and not a sprint. Find allies. Find people that are aligned with mission, vision, and values of what you want to see the world be. Work with them over an extended period of time and understand that money, success is a lagging indicator. And that eventually, if you plant enough seeds, if you plant and if you build, you will get rewarded. Birds of the same feather flock together. If you're hanging out with losers, if you're hanging out with druggies, if you're hanging out with people that are pessimistic, what do you think is going to happen to you? Inevitably, that's going to rub off. If you're hanging out with successful people, people that have a desire to make money, to get fit, to level up, eventually that will also rub off. So if you want to level up, you need to not only level up your circle, but you need to level up your...
Everything in life initially feels like bad reinforcement. You start going to the gym, you feel weak in order to become strong. You go to the library, you read, you don't understand, you feel stupid in order to become smart. The process of discomfort is inevitable. You have to go through it. Most people have that initial feeling, that initial lack of self-belief, because they don't understand that they have to be humbled first in every aspect in order to grow.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like if this helped you, and write down the word algorithm, so that this video reach everyone who needs it.